Do you want to improve at a quicker pace? Check out GitGUDRacing.com, where I'm offering the most accessible coaching sessions on the market.
Now for the track guide. For turn 1, even though it's not a difficult corner, you have to prepare it by going on this tarmac on the left side. You want to position the car so that at turn in you will maximize the radius into the corner. So while keeping the fourth gear and the rev limiter hitting, I'm positioning just a bit more to the left, and immediately I'm starting to apply the brakes. You need to brake a bit into this corner to make the fronts point, and before arriving at this apex you want to go back on power. So you want to be as early as you can on power even before hitting the apex. And in terms of track usage, you can cut a lot here without getting an off track. The off track that I had here was from the beginning of the lap, from the previous lap. So you can cut around that without getting an off track. You really have to cut here a lot, because otherwise this car is very heavy and it doesn't have a lot of downforce. This car will feel like a boat, especially with a fixed setup in the next section, if you're not gonna start right from here with a good approach. So this will set up the tone for the next corners, because if you're not gonna use too much of the track here and previously whenever we're on the entry, then you will get pushed more towards the outside around here, and this corner now, which is very easy, will start to become difficult. So we want to have this corner very easy so that we can prepare for the first braking zone. We don't want to use the steering wheel more than we need. We don't want to overheat the fronts, because that will affect the braking into the next braking zone. We don't want to go too far on the right side so that we'll cover a longer distance while bringing the car more to the left. So ideally the car will be to the left side, but not as close to this curb, not touching this curb, because right now you can cut here a lot to the point that you're almost touching the grass on turn in. I do a small lift just to make sure the car doesn't track out wide. So right now it's in the center, but from this center part I have enough time to bring it to the left. If your car is gonna be one car width more to the right, it's gonna be impossible to have a good entry into the next corner. You're gonna use more steering angle, and overall it's gonna feel like you're overdriving. So this shouldn't feel like you overdrive the car. This should feel nice and comfortable around here. You'll still fight it a bit to bring it to the left, and I'm still braking diagonally towards it. So even with this preparation that I did, it still wasn't 100% perfect. Imagine if you're gonna do a bigger mistake, it's gonna be even worse. So right now my car is braking to the left side while I want to turn to the right. Not ideal, but I did carry a lot of speed by arriving here. Probably I still overdrive the car just a tiny bit, so keep that in mind. I'm applying the brake pressure, high brake pressure around here, 86 or so, and while braking I make sure that I'm using this curb at turn in. I found that opening up like this can yield some advantages, especially if you're coming from the center of the track, because you will brake in a straight line through here, so you will maximize the efficiency under braking whenever the car has its bigger speed and you have to slow it down efficiently. But whenever the trail brake starts to kick in, then we can turn from this point, and I'm avoiding to hit too much brake pressure while turning in, because the car will understeer if you hold the brakes too much. So there's a fine limit that you should be searching for. No trail brake gives no turn in, too much trail brake, no turn in. So you really want the car to turn by holding the proper amount of trail brake. I'm not trying to overheat the tires while going in, so I want to release the brakes at some point around here and then immediately be back on throttle. I hit this curb on the left and then bring the car just a bit more to the right while still being flat. I do just a lift here just to make sure that the car will point to the left side, so I can bring it too far to the left. Now at this exit road right here, when I'm seeing it, I'm applying the brakes. You don't have to brake that much. If you're gonna brake too much, the car won't turn. So you have to brake lightly, but you want to brake a bit earlier than you think, so that you will have enough time to cut this apex around here, cut as much as you can, and then immediately be back on throttle, because this is gonna be a long straight, and the earlier you're gonna be on throttle here, the more time you're gonna gain. Now, skipping to the next corner, I use this as a reference for braking the beginning of the curve. I'm applying the brakes, I brake hard initially 80%, then bleeding it off, and I plan to apex at the second orange thing here in the grass. So there are 3 of them. First one is here, second one here, third one is here. I want to have the nose of my car on the second one, the one in the center. However, I understeer in this example here, and I'm losing some time on the exit, as you see, but that will be the proper reference to have, and it will help you have more consistency. In the final chicane, probably the hardest part of the track, I'm braking at the beginning of this curve, I'm applying the brakes, I brake quite hard initially, I'm picking 100. You shouldn't do that. For me, it was something like, it was maybe later than I thought it will, so it got me by surprise a bit. Ideally, you want to brake between 85, 90 maybe. Don't go to 100, it will use your tires a lot, especially in the races. So brake less than 100, and it's important on the brake release to don't have understeer here. So I tried to release them quickly, but this was a bit too quickly, if that makes sense. So because I picked way too hard initially, I had no choice but to release them quicker. So ideally your shape will be braking a bit earlier, braking a bit softer, but then holding it for longer, just a bit for longer, because my car now goes too much here on the right side, and it's not ideal. So I was up 1.2 tenths, but now because I'm so close to this curve, you want your car to be just a bit more in the center, because whenever you're gonna be back on power, you're gonna want to almost kiss the red sausage curve. So this section is like this. You want to get as close as you can to the curbs. This is going to be the first one, as close as you can. This is going to be the second one, as close as you can. And I plan to have like a blimp of 100% throttle in between them. Then I'm adding just a bit of trail brake. And now I'm building up the throttle, the third curve, as close as you can to it. And the fourth curve, as close as you can to it. And that's this section. Not ideal. This was not my faster lap, but the faster lap I did not record it. So in short, that's a track guide of Silverstone, the short version, the International, with the GT4, with the BMW M4. I wish you a great week, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.